Merry New Year, patrons and friends. It's been a long time since I've done a video. I thought I would jump in here with one that I did actually draw last year at some point. I don't even remember where or when, but I thought it would be fun to show you this drawing and painting of Brandon Sanderson that I did. And you can see here, I'm showing you my drawing process and a little bit of my workflow in Fresco on the iPad. So what you're seeing here is a screen of recording of my screen on my iPad, and you can tell that as I've drawn, then I've gone in and I've selected a certain area, in this case his right eye at a certain point with the selection tool in Fresco. And then what I'll often do is I'll use those selections, I'll transform them, adjust them a little bit so that they fit a little bit better in proportion to the overall painting, or the drawing in this case. It's one of the things that I love about the digital tool sets that we have nowadays at our disposal, whether it's Procreate or Fresco, even Clip Studio Paint, whatever you sort of tend to work with. On the iPad, you have so much flexibility and control over your rendering and your drawing. So you can see here that I was scaling and repositioning the eye to fit more proportionally with the rest of the face structure. And then I just jump back into using my pencil tool and manipulating things. I didn't slow down these sections. This is all like a sped up time lapse. But you can see that in there I was using some more selection tools and a little bit of transformations just to kind of like, I guess, move things around. In this spot here, you'll notice I've gone in and I'm just liquefying the area using the push tool, push and pull. So you just basically use that tool and you can manipulate the non-destructively the form of the face. So in this case I needed the mouth to be a little bit lower, so I just kind of, it's almost like smudging, so I just smudged it around or rubbed it around manipulated it until it was in the right position, and then once that's located a little bit better, then I'll go back in and draw, and you'll see it through the time lapse. You'll notice there's moments where things jump around. That's what I'm doing in those instances through the time lapse, as I'm kind of smudging pieces around using the liquefy tool in Fresco in this case. And I just wanted to record kind of like the drawing process for you. The idea here is that, as I've been kind of on this journey of trying to improve my ability to see. And what I often do with that process is I'll do a placement of my drawing over top of the photo once I'm done drawing it. If I'm going to do a straight up drawing process, that's how I'll work. So you can see here, I've got this drawing and I've thrown it over top of the photo to sort of analyze my accuracy in my drawing. It's kind of a goal of mine, I guess, which I don't know if it's reasonable or whatever, but to be able to very, very closely illustrate or render a face to an accurate degree. And that's my dream, I guess, to be able to sort of like look at something and just accurately represent it. So I'll do a drawing, I'll throw it over top of the photo, and then sometimes I'll just trace the photo and then use that as my starting point for the drawing, or sometimes I'll manipulate my drawing and then have it sort of like transformed using the liquefy tool and the transformation tools to get those proportions right before I start painting. With this piece, I was trying to be inspired by this artist Welby Art, who does Marvel Comics, Image Comics, Boom, content covers and interior work, Velibor Stanojevic, and I really wanted to basically look at how this artist works. This piece in particular stood out to me, so I used this as kind of like my basis for color palette and approach to this piece. I kind of would say it was heavily influenced by this piece. I heavily referenced the colors and the approach, but I thought it would be fun to look at doing that with a painting of Brandon Sanderson as a Bridge 4 member from Stormlight Archives. So that's why I found this portrait of Brandon Sanderson and just thought it would be fun to work off that one. So you can see here I'm kind of like changing the costuming, trying to put him into like a Bridge 4 costume uniform, just because I thought it would be fun. It'd be kind of neat to see him in that light, and so using the color palette from Welby Art's piece, I went ahead and started painting using the drawing that I had traced as my basis for the structure. One of the things that I've struggled with in this piece and in all of my pieces is once I start getting into the painting, I tend to be a little bit destructive of my pencil drawing, because at a certain point I kind of merge the two together and then just keep painting into it. And I still haven't gotten confident enough yet, I suppose, to be able to just kind of render that straight up. But if you find yourself running into that kind of a problem with your artwork, it's not really a big deal. Again, with the digital tool set, you have so much flexibility. You can throw your drawing back over top of your painting, and then you can manipulate it. In a recent painting, which I just did, that you can see behind me here, I recently just finished that one, and I did a ton of reworking of the composition and the structure using the liquify tool and some of the tools in Photoshop. After I had done my first pass on the painting, I recognized that I had damaged the proportions, and so I went back in and I reworked those proportions. This piece worked out pretty well. I didn't end up having to do a ton of that. You could see in the process there, I'm flipping back and forth between the photo and the painting over top. It's another way to help you kind of see. It's a really quick reference guide in approach. One of the things I didn't do in this piece, which I also like to do, is to flip my canvas, and that allows me to be able to see what I'm looking at from a different perspective. And it's really easy to do that in Fresco and any digital tool set. You can easily flip that. So this here, I'm using the oil brushes in Fresco, which I tend to like to use. I gravitate towards the live brushes, which is a really small set of technical brushes that Fresco created, Adobe created for Fresco, which are designed to sort of mimic oil paints. And the fun thing is that going from these oil paints to canvas and working with oils has been a very interesting experience. I've started to do a little bit of oil painting, and I've found that the feel of the traditional real oil paint medium seems quite akin to these digital tools that Adobe has created, which is really fascinating to me. So I really enjoyed kind of building this painting using those brushes. It's what I use for the most part. I used it on this other piece too. I do some work in Procreate still, but I tend to gravitate to these live brushes just because they have so much feel and organic sort of nature to them. They feel like you're working with a traditional brush, which is really awesome. They've done a very good job with the technology and the tool set. So that's it. There's your time lapse of this painting. I hope that you enjoyed it, and yeah, I hope that you're having a great Christmas and New Year break, and that you have a wonderful 2024. And thank you for sticking around and sticking with me through 2023. I do intend on doing more work throughout the new year and continuing to bring you content. I want to do more portraits. I'm getting close to my 100 portraits. I'm getting close to 90, so I'm getting there. It's taken me a lot longer than I anticipated that it would, but I will be hopefully finished this year. It's my goal. So stick with me, and I'm going to try to create some new content. I am revamping my personal brand identity too. I don't know how much that's going to affect my YouTube channel, but there may be some spillover into that as well. And until next time, I'll see you later. Happy New Year.